The Titanic has been sunk for over 100 years now. It struck an iceberg while on its way to New York. In just about 2 hours, the ship completely sank. The lifeboats on board were only enough for half of the passengers, and they were not even fully filled, so only about 700 people could survive. Around 1,500 people died. Today, let's dissect the Titanic and look at its internal structure. The ship had 4 funnels, but only 3 were used for smoke. The last one was mainly for ventilation within the ship. These 2 are masts, used to support wireless telegraphy and for hoisting flags. The lookout was on the foremast, where the iceberg was spotted, albeit too late. The ship also had several cranes for loading and unloading large cargo. The Titanic had multiple decks, the topmost being the boat deck, and the others were labeled as B, C, D, E, F, and G decks. Cutting the ship in half reveals the internal structure. Here, we can see how 3 funnels are connected to the boilers. First class had 2 staircases, with the forward one reaching every deck and having 3 elevators alongside it. The aft staircase in first class only went as far as C deck. Second class passengers used these 2 staircases, and third class had their stairs here. Third class cabins were on the lower decks, second class cabins here, and first class cabins were on the higher decks, offering the most beautiful views. The first deck also had separate activity areas for passengers. Second class passengers could only move around the stern, which was obstructed by many lifeboats. To provide the best views for first class passengers, their activity area had no lifeboats, creating a safety hazard for the ship. The designers thought the Titanic was unsinkable, and lifeboats were just for transferring passengers and crew. Lifeboats, hanging on iron frames, were lowered into the water after loading sufficient passengers. The Titanic had 3 large propellers, shown here in comparison to a human. Powering these propellers were 6 boiler rooms, with a total of 29 boilers. Between the boiler rooms were coal rooms, where workers shoveled coal into the boilers. The burning coal heated water, producing steam and smoke. The steam was piped to the engines, each 4 stories high with 4 pistons driven by steam. The propulsion for the propellers came from these pistons. The smoke produced by burning coal was expelled through 3 large funnels. Behind the engines was the electric room, providing power for the entire Titanic. On the night it sank, the electric room was the last to be submerged, so the lights stayed on. The Titanic had 16 watertight compartments, designed to prevent flooding from affecting other compartments. However, on the night it sank, the iceberg scraped along the starboard side, puncturing many levels at the bow and letting in too much water, sealing the ship's fate.